Never outshine the master. The topic of this video is never outshine the master. This is my first video, so forgive me if I go off topic or I make any inconsistencies. This passage was taken from the book 48 Laws of Power. I deem it to be very useful. Hence, I am sharing this with you. Never outshine the master. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior. Do not go far in displaying your talents to your superiors because you might end up inspiring fear and insecurity within them. Nicolas Fouquet. He was a finance minister to Louis XIV. Louis loved lavish parties, pretty women, and poetry just as much as he loved money. Fouquet was a clever and an extraordinary man, considered to be indispensable. Therefore, he was expected to be the Prime Minister's successor after his death. But after the death of the Prime Minister, the position was abolished. This made Fouquet suspect that he was losing his touch. He then decided to win over the king by staging the most spectacular party the world had ever seen. The most of noblemen of Europe as well as the greatest minds of the time attended this party. The party comprised of a 7-course meal, in which meals never seen before in France were served. The party ended with a fabulous display of fireworks as well as a phenomenal play. The very next day, Louis Fouquet was arrested. 3 months later, he was put on a trial. Half of the cases filed against him were approved by the king himself. Fouquet was then found guilty and sent to the most isolated prison in France, where he spent the last 20 years of his life. Interpretation. Louis XIV, the Sun King, was a proud and arrogant man who wanted to be the center of attention at all times. He could not admit being outdone in lavishness by anyone, and certainly not his finance minister. To succeed Fouquet, Louis chose Jean Baptiste Colbert, a man famous for giving the dullest parties in France. He used the money from the country's treasury to build an even more extravagant palace than Fouquet had, using the same architects, decorators, and garden designers. And he hosted parties at the same place, even more extravagant than the ones which were hosted by Fouquet, the ones which costed Fouquet his freedom. Let us examine this situation. Louis thought that by presenting spectacle after spectacle, each more magnificent than the other, he was proving his loyalty and devotion to the king. He thought that it would not only get the king in his favor but also impress him by his connections, good taste, so and so. Instead, however, after each spectacle, it made others' attention shift from the king towards the finance minister, Louis Fouquet himself. Hence, rather than impressing the king, it offended him. It made him insecure. It created a fear in him. He found a convenient excuse to rid himself of a man who had inadvertently made him feel insecure. When the evening began, Fouquet was on top of the world. By the time it had ended, he was at the bottom. Vulture, 1694 to 1778. Thank you.